It's been 2 months since your hometown, Eidos, was ripped from its own reality and placed in a new world. The Eidosians are calling it Horizon. Untamed and uncharted, it presents both risk and opportunity for all. Rangers, mages, and warriors all eagerly answer the call. Not all who have gone in search of fame and fortune have returned. There are many dangers lurking in the dark. Horrors from other dimensions summoned to Horizon as you were. Still, there is hope. There are friendly faces in Eidos, always willing to aid you in your journeys. And in the back of your mind burns the unanswerable question: who brought Eidos to this strange place called Horizon, and why?
Introducing Dragon's Crossing, an addictive Web3 game modeled after Dungeons & Dragons. With just 15 moves a day, you must find the right balance to navigate each zone and climb the leaderboard. In the meantime, you can also find NFTs that will bolster your chance to win, or can be traded to other players.
Lots to do. You understand.
Season 1 gave out a whopping $13,000 in prizes, and we only expect it to grow from here. Make sure you're ready for Season 2 by picking up an NFT hero through our limited time mint, or via the secondary market on OpenSea. Will you be our Season 2 champion? Check out our website, dragonscrossing.com, for more information. Let's go! What's up? What's up?
Sorry, I was muted. How's it going, Doug? I think I hear you playing Dragon's Crossing in the background.
Yeah, I'm playing often and early, and often. So I've got a bunch of heroes, and they're all going to make a comeback and win the season. So everybody that's in the top 10, watch out.
So, Doug, how have you found Season 2?
Okay, so Season 2 is really intriguing because the thing about that I like about these seasons is that there's always new different things that you have to figure out. And also, like, you think that you might know something or you're good at something, and then, like, the game kind of slaps you around. Like, I've died a bunch of times. I started off the season not dying very much, and then all of a sudden, I didn't know where I died a bunch, and I went down in the rankings with some of my people. But what I really like is having another set of like heroes where I'm starting later in the game, where I'm being a little bit more cautious, and I can also send them equipment, so I think they'll do better. So it's really fun to see, like, what kind of strategies work best, and how fast can I beat the season so that I can send, like, gear back to my other heroes. Really is kind of the meta if you want to have a lot of heroes do well, I feel like.
Just like passing, like, your hand-me-downs almost.
It really, really is. Because I had a feeling even in Season 1 that would be the meta, but Season 1 it wasn't so much because I think we're all kind of figuring out the game. And it was, like, harder to beat the boss early. Like, people are beating the boss early in as opposed to, like, when the season ends. And now they know they have time for sure to, like, even beat the boss. Like last season, a lot of people beat the boss maybe once or twice. This season, they're expecting to beat the boss more and then be able to do that. So, but it's also, you have to be strategic, like how many you send and when you do it, because it still takes quests. So, like, even though there's all these opportunities and things that are kind of cool or make you feel like OP, anybody can do it. And I'm talking to Grady and other people on the streams. They all seem to be doing that tactic even more and more and more now. But, like, all the things I kind of had a feeling of what people would do seem to be coming to fruition because but you never really know. But after you beat the boss, though, then you're done and you can just farm or whatever, and you can send your stuff back to your person. But when I've done it, though, Brown Gent, like, when I've actually gone down to do it, I find that, like, it's hard decisions to make still, though, because unless you have super OP equipment, often the equipment isn't that much better than what you already have. So you still do have to, like, find really good equipment and find stuff that your character really needs. So it's not super easy, but for, like, my Brooklyn character, who was, like, the last registered hero and stuff, trying to beat the game as the last person, it's a lot of fun.
Interesting you say that, because I probably am the last person who knows how to use the shared stash very well. As far as I understand, it's only accessible at Eidos, right?
Yes, you can. Next season they might put a different share status somewhere else, but you have to go all the way back, and you have to use 2 quests on either side. So when you send it and you receive, and what makes it great, once you win the game, the guy sending it, you don't care because you're just using quests that don't matter, right? But the person receiving it does.
Ironically, I used it once when I lost the dice roll. I had like an 18, and the guy sent me back to Eidos.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know what I'm doing.
So that's kind of a cool thing, but I hate that guy because like it never happens if I actually want to go back. Of course, it's only like when I don't want to go back. But it's still one of those things. And in the next season, I think they might tweak that. But I think those are things that make a game fun. When you can have like a situation where like I even heard Grady talk about in his stream, Crypto Grady. And he's like, I'm expecting to get that guy in the next day or two. And when I do, I'm going to use it to transport back and pick up stuff out of the stash, right? Because if you're only using those items really for the end game, like boss, because you really need them then, because otherwise you might not win. So that's like super vital. You can wait to get them until like, until like you get sent back maybe, right? Mm-hmm. Or at the last minute, if you don't get sent back, you can then go and do it yourself manually. But there's all these different schematic ways to kind of figure out. And I think that's why they put it in the game, because it gives you a different strategy to try to think about. And so every season they're trying to put in new stuff to give strategy to the game. And now in the next season, there's going to be new things. Like, for example, the NPCs are not going to count as quests anymore. They're going to only pop up after a normal interaction, and they won't cost anymore. So all these things will be adjusted to not only, I think, make the game maybe a little bit better, but also just make it different, because that's the number one thing about video games. You want things to be new and exciting and new challenges.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I can't tell you the number of times I've ran into the orb, the gambler, the berries, like on back to back, and I'm like,
like 3 in a row.
I wasted 2 quests doing this, and like I got 1 combat encounter max out of it because I wasted the rest on NPCs. So, have you beaten Abaddon yet?
Abaddon. The Abba Baba Ding Dong. No, I have not. And so what happened is all my heroes that started off in the beginning, I started in day 1, are all doing terrible. Like, they're all getting killed all the time. They just have the worst luck. But the people that are in the middle and at the end are doing way better. And so when I talk to Gatrino, he's figuring out formulas behind the scene to show you your efficiency, to like how well you actually are doing type thing. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of hard to tell from the leaderboard, sort of, how you're actually doing.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Because there's a lot of gray areas and stuff. But he said like, he's like, hey, well, these are the heroes that are doing best for you, because he looked at it. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. It's sort of obvious that they're the best ones, but not super obvious, because it depends. Different areas of the maps are more tougher. So if you have someone that's like just way back in zone 3 or something, it's easier to get through that than zone 5. So it's hard to tell exactly where you rank, right? But those ones that are in the end game like behind, are doing way better and dying less and having much better luck as far as all the RNG stuff goes. So I'm going to like just go heavy into those characters. And I also waited around a little bit to see what skills to put on what characters, because I have a ton of skills. Like, who are my best bets to win really well? But this is the other thing. If you're trying to race to the end so that you can beat Abaddon quickly and send your gear back to your other heroes, it's almost smart to put your skills on those heroes so that you can beat Abaddon as fast as possible and then send your gear to other people. So there's that. But then there's also the idea, if you want to put those skills on the heroes that you're like saving for later and trying to do better with. I mean, the real key is just having lots of skills and put them on all of them. But
I've definitely heard I've heard a lot of people talk about like the hero mix, and like, one of the things I found a little challenging was Zone 5 is really difficult. Last season I didn't really get to make it out there. I just got to Zone 5 on 1 hero and the season ended, because I started like 10 days late, right? This time all my heroes are there, and one of my heroes specifically, I think I was like for 3 days, because you know how like when you're in Zone 5, you probably get like 2 combats before you need a full heal. Like, they're really powerful creatures there, right? Or powerful monsters. And what happens is, if you don't have the herbalist tile available, you're like out of luck, basically. So I was sitting there like, hey, you know what? I had a strategy. Since I'm just wasting a bunch going back and forth, like it's like 2 one way, 2 the other way, and then 2 for the heal. So 6 quests for every 1 or 2 combat encounters. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hit combat and flee every time and try to just get the herbalist. and then I just kept getting knocked. This one didn't get past, it just killed me, and then I lost all my good equipment -1. Yep. And now when I go back to Zone 5, that hero has 0 chance. I can't even farm there anymore because the equipment makes such a difference.
So, like, when you have a hero, there's a lot of those situations in the game where you're in a bad situation. Like, you die, and then there's no way for you to easily level up because you're in a zone where, like, you're too high level and it doesn't want to count, like, the experience. But then if you go to the next zone, you're weak because you don't have equipment and you're screwed. So those are the situations where you probably have to send them equipment, right? So beating the season as fast as you can with people, and then having, right now we have time where you can go back and you can send stuff, because the season was, I actually was the person that was pushing for the season to get extended because we had like kind of like the delayed entry for like the Rift Heroes and stuff. They weren't able to enter the game until like, day 5, 6, 7 or something. And I was like, hey, if you only unlock it, then you need to give people a little bit of a gap. So we have that benefit right now. It might not be the same next season, but we can use that to our advantage to try stuff out. But in those situations, you want to be able to send gear to those players because otherwise they could be in a big trouble. Now, the blacksmith does give you okay gear. That's kind of okay, but it's not great.
They're like they don't do anything.
They're not. That's better than having no gear. But sure. Like, so for example, if you have somebody that just died and you save one piece of gear that's like good, and then you send that character maybe like 2 more pieces of gear that are good, and then the other 2 pieces are just the ones you get from the blacksmith, you'll probably be able to go in the next zone and kill some dudes, right? Like depending on, or you could just send them the whole set of gear, whatever. But that's just the thing. If you have a character is going to do really terrible, and it's not going to place very well at all, and the difference between coming in 600 and 610 is only like 50 cents. You know what I mean? Like it might be worth it to like drop in ranking to like use those quests to send the gear to the character that actually is doing well, but they died, right?
It's definitely nice to have a hero that you can sort of be a throwaway hero.
Just have a throwaway hero, right? Yeah, just have it's like your how the knights had like their serfs or their people helping them. They're just holding their gear. A page or something, or what is it? A squire. Yeah. They're a squire. In fact, that would be actually hilarious to add that in the game. Have a squire character who's just like there to like help you with gear, but you have to like pay for them or something, right? But there's all these discussions of also having companions and pets and stuff like that too, right?
It'd be interesting to add just more like complexity in the game.
Well, that's the thing is like it fills in the gaps for the stuff that is not going super well, right? Like in the game, like as far as like your character, like, oh, my character needs this, and I really wish it had that, right?
I also think, for those of you who've been paying attention on social media, we've got some great community members who've been posting a lot about their battles. So like you can sort of see them on YouTube. Grady's posted a bunch of final boss fights with his kids. We see it with I Know Kung Fu. And congratulations to sort of Bob Nothing, who right now holds the title for the sort of pace leader, right? So sitting at 271 benchmark quests to beat the final boss.
That's really good.
Season 2. Like,
Bob,
I think it stood the time for a long time. And over the last day and a half, we've really seen people, I guess, take more risk and sort of climb that leaderboard, right?
Dude, getting 271 quests to beat Abaddon is really good. Like when Kung Fu beat it at like 283 or whatever it was, and then people started beating him, I was actually kind of surprised so many people were beating him. Because, like, I have characters that are at, like, 300 plus and are not anywhere near beating him because they died a bunch, right?
45 on all my heroes. And
what?
Close to, like, beating his minion. Like,
what do you say, 345?
Yeah, I'm at 345. Like, strategically cropped off, which I just go down here, you see?
Yeah.
345. It took me 257 to make it to the Dark Tower, okay? That was to make it to the Dark Tower inside. And that was the hero that died 4 times, of course.
Right. See, that's the problems. You died a bunch and then you get screwed. But 257 to make it the Dark Tower is not actually bad. You're doing okay.
It's right now level 17, I think, this hero. But
you actually might be doing better than a lot of my heroes. The key to this game to do really well is if you have like 15, 20, 30 heroes, of course you're going to have like 1 or 2 that do well, right? RNG, making good decisions, right? So like, the people that are doing well, they probably have more than 1 hero, I'm guessing, right? Yeah, that kind of thing. I have like 11 now, but I had like 4 last season. And but mine are, and a lot of people might have done the staggering where they started some later too. I'm not really sure how that's all working, right?
No, it's definitely a good call. Also, like, you want to sort of slow roll people. Like, I think there's a part of the strategy in the game as well is like, do you let people know that you're on pace for a 260 score and let them know it way ahead of time? Because if that happens, then people are going to start taking way more risks in an attempt to usurp you, right? Whereas if you see 271 as the benchmark goal, you will be, okay, let me try to beat that, not try to beat 260. You know what I'm saying? There's like a finite balance. I think that's the other thing of like doing it too soon. But I mean, part of it also is great competition, right? You see the benchmark set, and then everyone trying to like beat it right underneath it. So
Chozo just got here. He's like, "What did I miss and stuff?" But
we're about to do the drawing actually. So
yeah, we haven't done the drawing yet or anything. We're talking strategy basically about the meta of how it's really smart to have a lot of heroes so that you can win the game as fast as you can with some, and then send equipment to other heroes. There's definitely enough time this season to do stuff like that. And then also like all the different little things that you have to do. But specifically if you die a lot and then you can send equipment from, maybe you have a hero or two that's just there getting good equipment and they can send them to them, but you just don't expect them to do well. All the heroes that I started off season day one are like my what is it called? Page, or what is the word again?
Squires.
The squires are like squires now. They're just going to be sending equipment, I think, back. But it's all, strategy and like what's going to be the best for the least amount of quests. And I think my middle heroes and my heroes that started late are all going to do pretty well. But now when I see Bob got 271 quests, that's just crazy. I'm not sure how much skills factor into this, because nowadays, if you have the right skills, you can definitely do a lot better. But it all depends on your build and how you make the characters and stuff, right? I know I personally did like hardcore quickness and charisma, and I think that did help me a lot in certain situations. But there's certain skills for like warriors or whatever, if you like level up wisdom and different things, that can be helpful. But it depends like what skills you have too.
Oh, skills are so I don't want to say underrated, but like they're definitely an addition to the game. And like people had a choice this season, right? This season, you either had the choice to build up your heroes and pick the ones you wanted to like sort of overload on quests, or potentially like swap the ones you wanted, like sell them on OpenSea and pick some other ones up or something potentially, right? Because at some point they were somewhat higher. I think there's been a lot of skills opened this season, probably because of way more influx of heroes. But it's good to see, because now if you want a skill, you can find it. Whereas I think last season, if you wanted a skill, some of them you couldn't find because everyone wanted certain skills. Right?
Well, the thing is that like it's kind of a lot to figure out what skills you might actually want or what you have and then what to do to get them. It's not super clear to everybody like what skills are like the best or it will be helpful. That's why we made the tier list. So there's a tier list video that we made, and I can even put a link to it in the chat or whatever if anybody's interested in that we made with Kung Fu, and Doc was chiming in on it, who won last year, right? And Kung Fu was the first person to beat Abaddon this year. I think he's in like 4th or 5th place now. So all these guys are doing like a really good job of figuring out the game and the best way to do stuff, at least for them. And having this tier list of the skills is really helpful, because it's hard to know for sure exactly what skills really help you the most in the game at times. And that's, something that we all have to figure out. But it's like really, in fact, when I first started doing tier list videos, a lot of people didn't want, because they're like, oh, if you tell everyone the builds and the way to do it best, then it's going to be like, you give them all the insider info and alpha. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, the game's so complicated in different ways. I don't think it's going to really like make that big a difference. Plus it's really competition of who can do it the best and make the best decisions anyways. Right. So there's a link to that if you guys want to check out that tier list video, but there's a lot of skills that can be helpful, but you have to have the right attributes, and a lot of them are level 15 skills, so they're not easy to get. You have to go buy them in OpenSea, and all that stuff too. Oh, It says Chozo says like the art style of all these unique heroes. Yeah, and so these new heroes, we're gonna do a giveaway for that too. But real quick, we should also talk about, I think, Brown Gent, just the stuff that's gonna be new in season 3, right? Like we're gonna have a new NFT that allows you to quest more than 15 quests in a day. And it's still going to count against your quest amount, but you could get to the end boss quicker, which is a fun flex, right?
It helps if you start late too.
Yeah, and then it helps if you start late, which is amazing. And if you get there quicker and beat the boss quicker, you can send your gear back to your other heroes. So it doesn't necessarily help you win and beat Abaddon, but it gives you a chance to do other like contextual things that can help you with beating him in different ways, kind of like, as that. So I think that's really cool. And also there's going to be 2 different paths that you can go down, multiple paths you can go down, like choose your own adventure. And there'll be different mechanics during different paths. So a lot of different ways to die, basically, right? Like new ways to die and to be worried about, right? The different mechanics.
Up the game, right? So like no longer is like the set strategy. The idea here is like they don't want people to sort of just be on autopilot, right? You want to sort of every single season it will come down when we think of the end of the season, what was the strategy that won it? In season 1, it was the no healer meta. In season 2, it's the hand-me-down strategy, but we'll see what it actually ends up being when we get to the end and see who wins and sort of what their full strategy was, right? Were they specifically like using a bunch of heroes as like the fall guys to set up one big hero to go for the big push, given there is not that it's super top heavy, but there is a significant prize difference between the top 3 and the rest, right? So.
Well, yeah, and the thing is that like the hand-me-down meta, I don't think was really a thing until like we got till around now. Like people might have thought about it, but we didn't really talk about it. So going into it, they might have thought that might have been a thing. They'd be like, okay, maybe I'll do that, but it wasn't like like this is the meta. But now that we're here and people are beating the final boss, we find out people are doing it a lot. So now we know that it's very popular. But also the meta, I think, is just like been a lot of mage action and ranger skills. Like there's certain skills like custom poisons, right? So you want to go out and get yourself custom poisons or some of the mage skills, right? And to help yourself, or like the parry skill, blade form parry with the warrior. So yeah, multipath is a game changer. So that. So I think the meta was like knowing that there are certain skills that definitely can help, and then also the hand-me-down thing.
Right. No, completely agree with you. So before we get into the drawing, I just wanted to ask, Doug, I think you were busy this weekend with your new premiere.
Yes, right.
I'm not gonna lie, I took my wife to see the movie, and like I didn't at first recognize why he looked so familiar to me.
Right, because that was actually me in the film.
That's right.
So they might have done a little CGI to make me look more like Ryan Gosling because he's popular, but yeah.
Was he your like stunt double? Is that what he was doing?
Double? Ryan Gosling's often my stunt double. He's a really good dude. And the thing is that like I had to like, just show the extra flex with the headband and the hair and everything. Because I can't go in a movie just looking just like myself. I gotta be Ken, right?
Right. I'm just Ken, right?
That's right. I'm just Ken, man.
All right.
Ken.
So let's remind everyone, this is what we're drawing for today. So we've got a mage, a ranger, and a warrior. And as a reminder, these are exclusive one-of-one Genesis heroes. There will never be another copy of these. These are the exclusive arts that were from the original arts that were designed for the game. As you guys know, we've sort of changed it, but it's going to be really cool to get these specific heroes. I think we're going to sort of follow the same approach we did with the prizes at the end of season 1, where you could claim it based on your OX. Now, this drawing will basically take place for those of you who've done a boosted mint, and each boosted mint will get you a ticket in the drawing. So if I navigate over here, you can see that we had, I think it was 217 people who did boosted mints, or 217 boosted mints. There's a bunch of duplicate addresses here. I've sort of filtered and put them all together. So I have these all loaded already in here. What I'm thinking we do, and I think to make it fair, you will not be able to win more than one, right? So we'll first start the drawing for the first one, which is the mage. And I will sort of pick one. And so let's just say that you win the mage, and then sort of you win the next one. We would re-roll for the second one, just to make sure that it's fair and everyone has an opportunity. Okay, Doug?
I think I got 2 boosted mints, so I might be a potential winner of this too.
Yeah, and we have no idea. We're just going to pick the OX that gets selected, and I'm going to sort of capture it.
Pick a random name. All right, this is super cool. I'm very excited about this.
All right, so just to help with the randomness, because it all depends on timing too, Doug, you let me know when to press the button, and I will do it.
All right, guys, in the comments right now, I want you guys to give me a countdown in the comments of 3, 2, 1. All right, Chozo, Sandwich Punch, are you there? Who's there in the comments, man? Let us see that you're awake. David Moses, let's give us a little bit of a countdown there. I'll start with it. I'll start 3. I'm punching in 3 right now. I need a 2. I need a 2 from you guys. Game is life.
What is 1? Ren Pen does not.
Pen just went straight to 1. Okay, click the button.
All right. Ending with 657E. Whoever it is, congratulations. We'll sort of be in touch anyways. Mage.
The wage. Okay. Let me look at what I need to look at what my.
I'm going to put this in here. Whoever this is has won the first. So let's just go through here again. The next one is, let's check the Ranger. So
congrats, whoever won the mage.
Yeah, that's a sweet mage, by the way.
She looks kind of like a necromancer with her eyes and stuff.
Ranger, warrior here. Okay, so now, once again, I think we need another countdown or some sort of indicator of.
Okay, Ren, Pen, and Chozo, I'm going to put a 3. Let's see if you guys can do a countdown with me. Can you make it? Can you get the 2 in there? How long does it take for you to put a 2 in there? They're probably playing Dragon's Crossing. Lord Punch is angry because so many people got boosted mints he wanted to win. Chozo's got a 1. Where's Ren Pen at? Where's Ren Pen? Where are you at? 2? You got 2 2s. What's going on here? Is YouTube slow? Ren Pen went all the way to 0 before. Ren Pen wins all the time. She's probably going to give us good luck here, okay? So here, I'll just put a 1.
Reminder, 6
okay,
5
ready? Right, okay, go.
Okay,
3, 2, 1, go.
He cannot win this one, so let's try. All right. Congratulations to A70001. Put that in the chat. You've won the Ranger.
Ooh, that was close to my address, but it's not. Darn it.
None of these close to mine, but I also didn't boosted mint, so not surprising. All right, the last one, the Warrior. For the Warrior, should we do anything fancy? No, right?
I'm the Warrior Maxi. I should win this one. He's got blood on his axe. There's blood all over it.
Yeah, so we know the 2 addresses that cannot win. If they win this, if they get picked, let me know when to button, Doug.
All right, I'm starting it again. I got number 3 in here. Who's alive? Who's alive in the comments right now? We got Chozo. We got Ren Pen. Everyone's so excited about this. Are you watching? We are announcing. Are you watching? I'm in the chat. See if these guys are actually going to get in here and watch the thing. I don't know what you guys are up to. I don't care if you're giving birth right now. You should be in here to win this.
A question mark. Is that a 2 or a question mark?
2. Sure. Okay, fine. I'm just going to put 1. Here we go. 1. All right, go.
Ooh, CBFEAF. So we got another. So that is. I'm not watching. I don't have it open here. So that wins the Warrior. So we've sort of drawn. I think everyone's going to claim, but if they don't get claimed within a week or something, we'll see what we can do. Potentially, we're probably just going to put them as a thing for them to grab. But congratulations to the winners. This is awesome. I can't remember. I think there's only 12 of them that exist, right? And you got imagine being able to post this now. You have an exclusive part of Dragon's Crossing history, right?
That Ranger looks like Robin Hood. The Warrior looks cool. He's got the blood on his axe.
This guy reminds me of the guy from Golden Axe, the Sega game.
Yes. Yes.
Golden
Axe. Yeah.
One of my favorite games. Yeah.
The mage, does she have just white eyes? I think she just has white eyes there.
She was up too late. She got bloodshot eyes or something.
Yeah. She's got a staff and a sword, which is crazy that she's dual wielding like that.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe we'll be able to find out who these winners are. I don't know if Dragon's Watch will be able to tell us their usernames or whatever, but who knows? What we're going to do now is I'm going to make sure I relay this back to the team, but also post it in the announcement so everyone who wasn't able to see it will sort of know. On behalf of myself and Doug, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to us talk and ramble on about Dragons Crossing strategy. And we're excited to see how the season 2 ends up. We just got I think less than a week left, right? It ends August 1st at 11:59 p.m. UTC. So,
well, now I think the race is how can you get all of your heroes that you own to beat Abaddon before the end of the season, right? Somehow we can see. I feel like I can do it with most of my heroes, but we'll see. I'm going to go play right now.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.